Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Sir John Oldcastle, and we get to hear from Sir John Oldcastle today in Act 4, Scene 3, but oh my goodness, that means we need to cover Act 4, Scene 2, and it's a long one. We're getting to this weird section of the play where a lot happens, but there's not a lot of monologues. There's a lot of sort of rapid fire dialogue, and like this person has a 5-line line, and this person has 2 lines, and this one has 4 lines. So not a lot of monologues. This is going to be a lot more explanation for the next few days as opposed to monologue stuff. But anyway, Act 4, Scene 1, we were with King Henry in his camp as he was getting ready to go fight this battle. And we sort of had Sir John, the Parson of Wrotham, get his comeuppance and be outed as a thief and threatened with death and all these sorts of things. But he managed to weasel his way out of that, and he's okay. So Act 4, Scene 2, we're still on the battlefield, but now it's like we're after the battle because we're in King Henry's camp, and they bring on Acton, Beverly, and Merle, who have all been taken prisoners. And the king is like, "What are you doing fighting against your king?" And Beverly is like, "Well, we didn't want to hurt you. We just kind of wanted to, reform religion a little bit." And the king is like, "That's not yours to do. That's not okay for you to just reform religion a little bit." And then he turns to Merle and he's like, "Who's this guy?" So they're like, "Oh, he's the brewer." And he's like, "What is a brewer doing on the field of battle?" And Merle's like, "Well, I was promised a knighthood if I showed up." And he's like, "Oh, you brought the money and the horses. Okay, I get it." He's like, "You have those golden spurs that you were hoping to wear after you become a knight? Yeah, you're never gonna wear those on your heels. You're gonna wear those around your neck." So then they, with more like prodding and yelling and back and forth, it comes out that sort of all of them that were there because they were hoping to see Sir John Oldcastle. Because remember, there was the fray that happened in Act 1, Scene 1. His name was dropped, and a lot of them remember Merle was hoping that he was going to be knighted by Sir John Oldcastle. So it comes out that they were all there to see Sir John Oldcastle, which the Bishop of Rochester takes as like proof that Sir John Oldcastle is a traitor and has to be arrested. And the king is like, no, but he's a nice guy. He's too faithful. But the bishop is like, no, they all said that they are here to see him. They said that they came to meet him, so he must be here. He must have intended to come here. So therefore he's a traitor. He's the one that's, gathering all the rabble to lead this whole charge. So the king sort of reluctantly is like, "Okay, fine, bishop, you can go. You can arrest him, whatever you see fit." Now, it doesn't say in the stage directions here that the bishop leaves, but for the sake of the next scene, it's kind of important for him to leave now, because now Sir John Oldcastle is going to show up. So he comes in and he's like, "Hail, your majesty." And the king is like, "Oh, there you are. I'm going to arrest you myself on charges of treason for starting this rebellion." And Oldcastle is like, "What is this rebellion that you're talking about? I don't know any of these men. I've never talked to them. I've never written them a letter, none of that." And he turns to the 3 of them, to Acton, Beverly, and Merle. He's like, "Did I ever write to you? Have we ever spoken before?" And they're all sort of like, "Well, no, but we sort of hoped that you would be here." So now the king is even more annoyed with the 3 of them that were arrested for accusing a man of doing things who they had never spoken to, who they had no proof was supposed to be there. They really have no evidence against him. So he's like, "What are you doing accusing these people?" And then Oldcastle is like, "Yes, and more to the point, if I was a traitor, why would I be giving you this?" And he hands over, remember, he has this document that the Earl of Cambridge, Scroop, and Grey all signed saying that they wanted to get rid of the king. Remember, they had that little pact and he had them all sign it, and he kept it, and he's like, "Okay," but then he was like, "I'm going to go tell the king about this." So he produces that document and he hands it over to the king. He's like, "If I'm a traitor, why am I giving you this? To give you a heads up that people are planning a coup against you." And the king is like, I'm so sorry. Pardon me, Oldcastle. I've been mistaken. You are set free. Now I have to go take care of Cambridge and Scroop and Grey and that whole crew. So go just arrest Acton and Beverly and Murley. Take them away to be arrested. I'm going off to Southampton or wherever it is to take care of these other ones. And that's the end of Act 4, Scene 2. So, Oldcastle narrowly escaping being arrested. Act 4, Scene 3, we're in front of Oldcastle's house, and he's going home now because he delivered his message to the king. He's been pardoned, he's free. But before he gets there, the Bishop of Rochester is there, and he is roughing up Lady Cobham, Sir John Oldcastle's wife. He's getting very forceful with her, like, tell me where your husband is, tell me where your husband is. And he's having people go into her house to search the house, and he's like, seize all of the possessions. She's not allowed to have anything because she's not telling us where Oldcastle is, but she doesn't know. And he finally tries to get the Lord Warden to arrest her, and even the Lord Warden is like, calm down. She obviously doesn't know where her husband is right now. This isn't by the transitive property. We don't get to now arrest her. So the bishop and the Lord Warden start getting into it, but then Oldcastle and Harpole show up, and they're like, what is this? Why is there a sheriff at my place? What's going on? What's the bishop doing here? So Cromer, the sheriff of Kent, arrests Oldcastle on the charge of high treason in the name of the king. And Oldcastle's like, no, that's all a misunderstanding. Look, I have the king pardoned me. He was arrested me, and then he pardoned me. And the bishop's like, nope. And Oldcastle's like, yeah, no, but like, your letter is first, my letter is later, so my letter supersedes yours. I'm not actually arrested. And the bishop's like, nope. And Oldcastle's like, okay, fine. Take me in front of the king, and he will tell you himself that I am not under arrest, that he pardoned me. And the bishop's like, what, you expect us to take you to Southampton right now? And Oldcastle says, thither, good my lord. And if he do not clear me of all guilt and all suspicion of conspiracy, pawning his princely warrant for my truth, I ask no favor, but extremest torture. Bring me, or send me to him, good my lord. Good my warden, Master Shreve, entreat. So then they all go over and talk, and he turns, now he's just talking to his wife, Lady Cobham. Come hither, lady. Nay, sweet wife, forbear to heap one sorrow on another's neck. 'Tis grief enough falsely to be accused, and not permitted to acquit myself. Do not thou with thy kind respective tears torment thy husband's heart that bleeds for thee, but be of comfort. God hath help in store for those that put assured trust in him. Dear wife, if they commit me to the Tower, come up to London to your sister's house, that being near me, you may comfort me. One solace find I settled in my soul, that I am free from treason's very thought. Only my conscience, for the gospel's sake, is cause of all the troubles I sustain. So what he's saying here first is, he's reiterating, like, yes, take me to the king, whatever happens there. And if the king himself isn't going to acquit me in front of you, then please torture me to death. So he's like making that bet, if I'm lying, may God strike me down. He's saying, if I'm lying, you can kill me in the cruelest way possible. So the Lord Warden and the sheriff and the bishop go over and chat, and he turns to his wife and he's like, relax, it'll be okay. Please don't make things worse by crying about this. Everything will be fine. If they do take me to the Tower, you can come up to London too. That'll be a comfort to me to have you nearby. And he's like, the thing that's comforting me most right now is that I know that I didn't commit treason. He's like, yes, I have different religious beliefs than them, but I did not commit treason against the king, so I know I'm going to be okay. So she's like, but I don't know what's going to happen if they take you to the Tower. How do I get there? And the bishop is like, away with him. And the sheriff is like, but we don't have a warrant to arrest her too. And the bishop is like, fine, just kick her out of her house and take all of her stuff. She's not our problem. So the sheriff then gets around to asking that a small favor be granted, and that favor being that Harpool can still attend on Sir John Oldcastle while he is being held in the tower. And after some hemming and hawing and some back and forth, blah, 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 the bishop agrees that yes, Harpool can still attend on him. So they start to go out, but then Sumner comes in. If you remember Sumner, he was the messenger that the bishop had sent to go get Sir John Oldcastle. But when he got there, he met Harpool, who made him eat the piece of parchment that his orders were written on. So Sumner comes in and he has all of these books. He's like, check out all these books. All these books are written in English. And the bishop is like, books written in English? Why is the Bible written in English? We have to burn them because that's heresy and for them to own them. And Harpool is like, there's a lot of books that I have that are written in English that are totally acceptable for me to have. And if you burn them, I will make you choke on the ashes. And that's the end of Act 4, Scene 3. So some interesting stuff, a little bit of weird endings to the scenes, but Sir John Oldcastle, who narrowly escaped being arrested in 4-2, is now arrested and being taken to the tower, hoping that the king is going to cut him some slack for this this bit of a misunderstanding, so to speak, and all of their books might get burned. And Lady Cobham is also going to be going off to London so that she can be near him while he's in the tower. So lots going on and lots to sort out. And also for all of the build-up to this battle that we thought we were going to have, it happened off stage. And we didn't get to see it. We just got to see the aftermath. So, interesting. Anyway, come on back tomorrow for more. Tomorrow's going to be another long one because we skip a bunch of scenes. But yeah, come on back tomorrow for more. Mwah.